Hey going guys, Steve here from Australian 4x4 Adventures again, and we're going to do a bit of a review this time. Hopefully a short video. I'm going to try not to ramble too much because, you know, I like to talk and these videos are starting to get a bit long. So we're going to do a review on the UNIChip heads-up display unit. From the get-go, UNIChip have given me this for free. They may want it back after I've finished. Who knows? So essentially the heads-up display unit is, if you don't know what a heads-up display is, it projects information onto the windscreen with a little screen on there. So essentially you can see your speed, battery voltage, litres per 100, temperatures of certain parts of the car. It's kind of cool in that sense. So what I'll do is I'll quickly run you through how to install it first. So I can show you how to run the cables, how to plug it in, where to sit it, just do all the basic stuff, and then we can go into what I actually think about it. Right here, so when you get your heads-up display from Dynamotive in Bayswater is where I got mine from, so from UNIChip, this is the box you get. Nice and easy. This has been installed in my car for about 2 weeks now. This isn't exactly how it's packaged, I just put it all back in the box so you can see it all. Alright, so open it up. Inside you get the OBD2 sensor cable and mini USB which runs into the unit there. There's more than enough on that, so that's around about 1500 long-ish, 12 to 1500 long. More than enough length on the cable to get it where you need to go. Also in the box you get the unit itself. It seems fairly well made, plastic all the way around, but it feels alright, fairly light. Seems like an okay built type of unit, nothing too flash about it. From there you go into the manual. Manual's actually reasonable size. Like, there's a fair bit of stuff in there. All the details of everything you need. This is all English as well, so there's a fair bit of detail in there for everything. It's not really awesomely written. I reckon it might be Chinese or something, because just some of the translations just don't quite make sense overall. You've got to sort of really think about what they're trying to say. Also got a little sticky pad to hold the unit down to the dash. So essentially it's just a little black sticky pad, sticks on your dash, stick the unit onto that, stops it from sliding around. There, so you get that as well. And then you get a little reflective screen which sticks onto your windscreen. You can see everything. You can probably see the camera in that. So essentially that sticks to your windscreen, which gives you the reflectiveness inside to be able to see the heads-up display on your dash. So that's pretty much everything you get inside the box. So what we'll do is we'll quickly move on to how to install the unit, and then I'll tell you what I thought about it, having it for the last couple of weeks now. Let's go! Rightio, so sorry if there's any background noise, there's some guys ripping down a house, couple streets up. So, you take a little OBD2 sensor, just underneath the dash here, there's a little, the OBD2 gauge. So, basically find where that is, there. It's easy as, plugged in, done. So that is the actual unit plugged in into the OBD2 sensor of the car. From there, you're going to want to take off this little panel. So, you should be able to just get a nail under it or something. If you have to, you can get a screwdriver in there. Inside there. Pry him out. Just clips. It just literally comes out like that. Nice and easy. From there, you're going to want to run your cable. Take the end of the cable. Feed it through the gap. You can either stuff all the rest of the cable just down into the hole there, or you can do what I'm going to do later on and actually cable tie it all up in there so it's all out of the way. From there, you're going to want to actually just come up to where you want to sit the unit, because you have to set how long you want the cable. So let me move the camera. So what you're going to want to do is try and figure out where you want the actual unit. So whether you want it dead center of where you're sitting the steering wheel, so you're looking directly at it, or whether you want it off to one side so it's not quite in your direct line of sight but it's still sort of just there. Keep in mind with the 202s, that does cover the speaker. Shouldn't make a huge difference though, but it can go off to the side there. For this demonstration, we're going to basically put it dead smack dab in the middle, from where it's going to actually just be right in the middle of the line of sight, just for ease of looking at. But you can put it wherever you want. Right. So start off by plugging the cable into the unit by itself. You'll see it light up because the car's got power, and go from it. Don't worry about that at this stage. Push that back into where you want it for now, and then how the cable's thinner on one side, you can grab your little screwdriver and actually just push that wire into the gap between the dash and the windscreen, and it hides in there nicely. So you get next to no cable exposed whatsoever. You can do that from behind the unit as well. So everything's, I'll show you quickly. I can the best I can. So you can't really see any cable running all the way down there. You can still see it if you want to. You can push it down further. I just haven't at this stage there. So let's get back to here. This can basically fit in under here. Shove all this back into the hole for now. Feed it behind there. Get it out of the way. So that's the cable well and truly out of the way. Can't get caught on anything under here. This is where I say I'm just going to cable tie it up. Oh yeah, so the only thing left to do, I'm not going to put this on yet, the fixing pad for the unit, and then the screen for the windscreen, I guess. It does come with a protective film both front and back. This has been on and off now, so I'm going to put it back on for you just so you can see what it looks like. Hopefully it's still sticky enough, but we'll have a crack, chuck it on, and I'll show you what it's like. So that's obviously got a whole lot of bubbles in it because it's been on and off a couple of times now. I don't plan on reusing that. I'll explain why very soon. But when it was on the first time, it was nice and flat, no bubbles. It looked fine. My biggest bugbear with that was I didn't like the way it looked from the outside or the inside for that matter. So I wasn't a huge fan of it just because of that. I'll quickly show you what it looks like on the outside actually. So you can see there on the outside, you can really see it on the windscreen. It stands out like a freaking horrible thing on the front of the car there. I'm actually quite proud of the way my car looks. I quite like it, and for me that just detracts from it badly. I hate it. It's just this eyesore that stands out right in front of you. That's pretty much what I think of that reflector side of it. The unit itself seems quite good. Seems to have a lot of functions in it, a lot of usability, a lot of adjustment, everything else. So some of the really good points of the unit would be, you can say you got a fault code, the car goes into limp mode for some unknown reason, you're out in the middle of nowhere, you can't get to Toyota or wherever, other mechanic. You can actually reset the fault codes with this unit, so you can get it out of limp mode. Say something comes up on the dash, just yep, cool, couple of buttons, good to go, and you're back on the road again if it's just something simple like that. For mine, like a GXL version, doesn't come with a fuel usage thing on the screen. This has got it built in for you, so you can see what you're doing, litres per hour, litres per 100, that sort of setup. So it seems quite good for what it's got, and I quite like it for that aspect of it. The parts I don't like though, and this is probably gonna maybe upset some people, I don't know, we'll see how we go. The main parts I don't like, one is it looks like an aftermarket accessory. It looks tacky, it looks just like an add-on. For me, the best accessories are the ones that just look integrated and they look like they come that way from the factory. They work well, they're seamlessly integrated. The main one being that the only way to view it during the day is having that screen on your dash. It completely ruins the aspect of your car just because of that one thing. The actual unit sitting on your dash doesn't look that bad. It's there. You can't really see it from the outside. You only really see it from the inside, and it's black, so it matches the dash. So it's not that bad having the unit sitting there. As far as all those functions I was talking about before, so the strongest part of the unit is all the functions. It's great. Also, one of the bad parts about the unit though is there's so many different functions. It's so hard to navigate. Granted there's only 2 buttons on it, but if you had to remember it all, you couldn't. So you have to keep the manual in the car, otherwise you've got no hope in hell of remembering what each function is for and how it does it. The fuel usage thing I was talking about, from what I can see, it only gives you an instantaneous fuel and that's it. So it doesn't actually calculate, even though it says litres per 100, it doesn't actually calculate your average over time. It just gives you what from that particular throttle position that you're using, it gives you what it thinks you will use over 100 kilometers. It's kind of useless for, I reckon, for me. I don't necessarily like that part of it. So that function's useless for that part of it. The instantaneous liters per hour one is slightly more usable. I reckon that gives you an idea of what you're actually doing right then and there. So if you're coasting along, or if you're just sitting at a constant speed, you can sort of get a rough, you can work out the average by yourself, so that's not too bad. The other one I found I used a lot was the water temperature. So these things are meant to get to about 80 degrees for a working water temperature. So I could see how fast it was getting up to there. I could see the harder I drove it, it got warmer quicker, and it sort of made me aware of what the car was doing. It also told me when the car was at full temp as well, which was kind of cool. In the same note though, that's about all it really done. Like it's got battery voltage, but the car's got that battery voltage on the dash. You don't need a second one on the dash again. It's got an RPM built into it. Cool, but I've got an RPM on the dash as well. I don't need it. It's got a speed up on the dash, so heads up display speed in a digital form. Kind of cool, maybe, but I've got a speedo for that. It's just it's okay, but it's stuff that you don't really need, and for the inconvenience of the way it looks on your dash, I probably wouldn't do it. If I had to pay for it, I wouldn't take it. Simple as that. And I'm fairly sure I'm going to go give this one back to UNIChip, because I just don't see myself using it or wanting it from there. If they don't want it back, I'll give it to one of you guys. Maybe I'll let you know if they want it back or not. I'll message them, see how we go. Probably going to piss them off in this video, but I'm honest at the very least. See how we go. For the actual usability of the unit, I think Dave from Dash Off Road's actually got a bit of a video on how to use these things. So I'll see if I can link his video so you can see how to use the unit. I'm not going to teach you how to use all the buttons. That's not what this is about. This is about what the unit is, how to install it, and what I think of it from a user point of view. Having it for a couple of weeks now. Having said that, if I could get away without having this stupid bloody thing on the dash here, hopefully that's not all blown out, probably is. Get rid of this stupid thing and have that display onto the windscreen. Not as bad. Like if I didn't have to have anything on the windscreen. The guys from UNIChip, and they're fantastic guys, and I really hope I don't annoy them from this video, but I'm being honest about it. He did say something about the iPhone screen protectors and stuff work as well, and they're not as shiny on your windscreen, so you can't see it as much. So I might give that a go as well before I completely discount the unit. They're basic functions that you're getting as a heads-up display. It's nothing fancy and new and fandangle. It's basically just telling you what the car is on your dash instead of being on your instrument cluster that's already on your dash for most parts anyway. The Sahara and stuff's already going to have most of this stuff included, with the exception of maybe water temperature and stuff like that, which won't be included. What I am going to try though next, close that door a bit, is maybe one of the scan gauges. So I'll scan gauge or ultra gauge, or I'll maybe give one of them a bit of a crack and compare it to this one and see what the difference is. See if this I actually don't know what these are worth. I think they're $200, $150, something like that. I actually don't know. You have to go to the UNIChip website and have a look. If you're a little bit fussy like I am and you don't like stuff on your windscreen, and you don't like that bloody house, the freaking tractor's just wiggling, it's bucking around and it's making a whole bunch of noise. Alright, I think it's quiet for a second. I'm going to finish the video. If you don't mind the way it looks, great, go buy one. They're fantastic. I'm sure UNIChip will be happy to help you out. For me though, no go. Sorry guys. Alright, I will catch you next one. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit the little bell down the bottom, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and all of those other social medias, and I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.